Good morning, YouTube. This is Tennessee Hillbilly in the Philippines. Today I'm going to be talking about a little politics. I'm going to be talking about living in the Philippines during the pandemic. Uh, Talking about driving in the Philippines. I've had some big adventures since all this has happened. I'm about to get cabin fever. I'm trying to keep myself situated here, doing stuff to keep me busy. But this kid's almost ready to go back to the States. Uh, anyway, my politics. I've been a conservative, and Trump was my man. That's who I voted for. That's who I really wish to get the presidency. But now that Biden's done it, it's been proved, all that stuff. I've went with the horse. The thing about it is the man has already cost a lot of jobs. The oil pipeline coming out of Canada, that was a killer. He said he wasn't going to. He was going to work with the unions and stuff. He knocked out about 150,000 jobs there. I worked in the oil fields. Not so much the oil fields, but I helped build refineries. I done maintenance on refineries, so I made a lot of money off of oil. And it's a shame that America will have to start buying oil from the Saudi Arabia and places like that. That way they can start fighting wars again that we'll have to send men back over. I mean, it's just a horrible cycle that goes on. We were selling oil. Now we'll be buying oil. But that's my thing on politics today. I just think this world would be a little bit better if somebody was in office that would think before they write a damn executive order saying let's get rid of these good jobs. Let's start paying people $15 an hour to flip hamburgers. How smart that can that be? Anyway, plus if you're an American over here in the Philippines receiving money, myself, I've lost about 5 pesos per dollar uh, since the election started, all the politics started. Because at one point we were getting 52 pesos per dollar. Now it's down to about 48. By the time it gets over here through Exum, it's down to 46. And I have this great, in my opinion, feeling that before it's over, it's going to get down lower than that, because when Obama was here, it was horrible. Okay, now what? Living here in the Philippines during this pandemic, we've made it. We've not been sick. We venture out of the house. We throw a mask on. We do anything. We wear a mask. We wear a face shield when we get out in public. That's the rules. That's what we do. My kids, I require them to wear face shields when they go outside and come home. I don't want them to bring something home to me, 69 years old, that I can't ever get over. But so many people here are doing what it takes to get rid of this. Uh, Filipinos obey rules. That's one thing about them. You don't ever see anybody without a face mask over here. Everybody. So the vaccine, they're starting to put the vaccine out over here. It's going to be the doctors and health workers, essential people first. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get one. Maybe I'll have to go back to America. Next month, I'm going to got to go to the doctor, have a blood test. I'm going to see what the doctor or the clinic will tell me about this, whether I can get a vaccine or purchase one or something. I'm not going to take the Chinese vaccine, maybe not even the Russia vaccine, but I'll pay if I have to. I want to be over this crap. I want to be able to get on an airplane and leave if I have to. But anyway, driving in the Philippines here lately. Driving in the Philippines, man, oh man, if you don't have to, I'd hire a driver. I've come to the point every time I go out, I'm almost in an accident. 2 times last week we drove to Imus. I live in Cavite. Imus is about 30 miles away from us. It should be a 30-minute trip, but it takes about an hour with all the traffic. Car almost sideswiped us. You know, we stopped at a stop sign, and I don't know if it's just because You know, the Philippines, if it's a 4 lane highway, they turn it into 6 lanes. So all of a sudden, there's not enough lanes, so everybody's trying to squeeze you in here. And if I hadn't jumped on the horn and blowed it, he would have sideswiped the whole driver's side. Then I went to immigration on Monday morning. Monday morning's not the best time to drive because you get all the traffic, all the crazy people. Same thing, stopped at a stop sign. And what's so good about this one was the passenger on the passenger side had just stuck his hand out like stopping the traffic, like a turn signal. Well, the driver didn't give him 2 seconds to stop. He just started to pull over, and the same thing. If I hadn't laid in on the horn, he would have tore my car up, and he would have went on because he wasn't going to stop. You know the ones that are going to stop. But this place, every time I go out, it's almost an accident. I hold my breath. I take extra blood pressure pills with me. If it wasn't for my wife driving over there, being my second driver, I don't know what I'd do. We'd already wrecked our car several times. Next time I go to Manila or SNR or something like that, I'm just going to hire a driver. 500 pesos, a little bit more than $10. But a Philippine driver, he's used to this crap. Me, I'm not used to it. I watch all the time. My hands are 10 and 2, and I got my finger on the horn. And the brakes work very good, but it is just so stressful to drive here. And, if you don't have to, I would hire a driver. We were here years before we bought a car. And then when this pandemic come up, there's no question you have to have a car or you ride public transportation. Do you want to get in a jitney, 12 people, coughing, snorting, blowing? You don't know where they've been, who they've been around. Do you want to get on a bus? The rules for the buses was, face mask and face shield. Well, the bus people don't care. They want to fill that bus up. I mean, you see it on the news every day where the PNP stops a bus because people are not wearing proper protection. And and the bus people, they don't care. If they don't get paid unless they get a full bus, and if they don't get a full bus, that means they go home hungry. And but things, other than that, things have been going pretty good here. I'm still fat as fat can be, happy. The kids are about to drive me nuts by not going to school, but we'll see how that goes. They're talking they'll be having full, face-to-face school this next year, but we'll wait and see because this new variant, it's taking its toll here in the Philippines. They've locked down Davao City, in Mindanao. Mindanao's got a lot of these new variant cases. Then they've got the liquor ban. They've got quarantine sit back up. So, things. That's one thing about the Philippines. They don't mind making you sit at home or doing something extra. On Sunday, it was announced the children under 12 have to have a car seat, which in America, I've been used to that in America. That's been a law ever since I can remember. So, you're talking about anywhere from 1,000 to 6,000 pesos for a car seat times how many drivers here. To me, it's all about money. Well, they come back a couple of days later. We went ahead and bought one from Lazada. Lazada is like eBay because our little girl, she's 8 years old. She's not over 3 foot, and it would be for her safety to be in one. So we bought one. But then they come up and says, "Oh, we don't know if we're going to pass this into law." So here it's all about the money. I mean, that's my favorite saying. It's all about the money because all it takes is somebody in government to leak, "Hey, we're going to do this." Somebody goes out and buys 100,000 of these car seats. They just become billionaires overnight. And, no telling how many car seats were sold from Sunday to Tuesday whenever they announce that they don't know if they're going to pass that law. It's just unreal how things happen over here. I went Monday to immigration for my annual report. In other words, if you have a resident visa card, you have to go once a year and show them you're still here, you're still alive, and it's all about the money. 300 pesos, 310 pesos, but that's a hell of a lot better than paying 3,000 pesos for a little stamp in your passport every 2 months. But man, oh man, was I surprised. We got to Robinson Mall in Pala Pala at 8:30 in the morning. The guard there let us go sit down and wait. Of course, I'm a senior citizen. We sit there and waited till about 5 minutes to 9. The guard says, "Go ahead, y'all go on to the immigration," which was a no-no before the pandemic. Because what they'd do, they'd hold us at exactly 9 and let everybody go. You're talking about a herd of cattle running to the immigration, MBI, and such. But they let us go. I got there, walked up. Nobody was there. I was number one in the course. Here comes my beautiful lady. She's still in her sleep clothes, so I won't turn the camera on her. But anyway, I was number one in the immigration for the annual report. They were such well organized. We only spent about 20 minutes there. It's unbelievable. Last year it took about an hour, 2 hours to get it done. There was probably hundreds of people standing in there. This time, I think when we got there, there was just me, and then there was another man from Texas. He was coming in, and 2 or 3 more come in that was looking for extensions on their visas and stuff. I did find out that next year, if I'm not able to go, I just need to get a little paper that sign it that Judith can take care of it for me, and she can go take care of it because I'm over the age of 64. But if it's as easy as it was this time, I'll just do it because I had no complaints, no problems. But anyway, we got home safely. We were going to we buy meat from a butcher shop that's in Makati, which is another trip, and Judith, she got the name of one of the sales ladies, and we call her, and she sends us our meat now. We don't have to drive there, and we're going to go buy a big salmon, and one of the people here in the subdivision sells salmon, fresh salmon fillets, so we bought, I think, 3 or 4 kilos of salmon at $6.50 a kilo, which is only 50 pesos more than what we usually pay. But we have, excuse me, we have to buy the head, the bones, and everything. Well, this time we paid $6.50. We didn't have to buy the head, the tail, and the bones, and we didn't have to travel. So it's a win-win situation. I guess my wife, she's a reseller of things here. She spends most of her day on Facebook looking for things to resell, and she does pretty well for it's not a fortune like it would be in other countries, but for here in the Philippines, she's making above average wages. The worst part of it is I don't get my cut for help delivering a pickup, but that's okay too. I get other things that other people don't get. But there it goes. We've talked about politics. We talked about living in the pandemic. We talked about driving in the Philippines. What else can I talk about? And I've talked about children in the school. Well, there is still no international travel yet. President Durante, he put about 17, 18 more countries on the do not enter list because of this new variant, and until they get this under control, I don't believe there's going to be any international travel. I'm not an expert on this. You should contact a travel agency or the Philippine Immigration for the truthful information, which that's the best thing to do, is get them information from the horse's mouth instead of the horse's ass. And and around here, a couple of the resorts that have swimming pools, they open, And all in Batangas, they opened up, and then a few weeks later, here they closed down again because they're allowing children to go in, and children are not allowed out yet. They're not allowed in the malls or nothing like that. But at one point they were. They said, okay, they can go in, and then the next day they change it. That's one thing about the Philippines. They say one thing one day, and then the next day they change their mind to something else. Things change very often here. My wife, she's hip on this stuff. She's got her phone fixed for information coming out from the governor or for any kind of news like that. So we sort of get to know it pretty quick as they go, as the governor can make changes to anything that the government does. So he's more apt for just our area. And Cavite was down to 0 cases. They got a few cases. I mean, the governor got on there. He says, use your head. You know, if you don't need to get out, don't get out. Don't have family over for the holidays, which for Christmas and New Year's, it was just us and our immediate family and a few friends around our house. So we didn't have anybody come over here that we didn't know. And, you know, and everybody's still wearing a mask here. That's the best part. I make comments on Facebook about masks, and man, oh man, do they flood me and tell me I'm some kind of idiot by following rules. And maybe so, but 68 years old, almost 69, I don't want this damn COVID. I've talked to a few people that's had it, and they don't recommend getting it if you're an old man like me. I did lose a friend a couple of weeks ago. In reality, that was a COVID death too, because he had kidney cancer. He needed to go to the doctor. He tried to go to the doctor when he first, started getting bad. And what they tell you, you have to have a swab test. How much is a swab test? At that time, it was 12,000 pesos. And what would have happened, they would have put him in the hospital because he was really bad sick. He had lost so much weight. It's kidney cancer. Most likely the cancer went all over his body. But he told me, he said, Richard, he says, I'm not going to go to the hospital or doctor. He says, what they'll do, they'll make me sign over my house to them to get treated. And if I do that, then where my children and my wife will stay. So he stayed upstairs in a room by himself. I mean, his wife took good care of him, but he just stayed up there and he whistled away. I mean, I went up there and his arms was about that thick. I mean, that big around. Couldn't keep food down, and he just give up. I mean, I guess she told us the last minute. He says, I think I want to go to the doctor, and then after that he passed away. So he did what he wanted to do. He did it his way. He had more nerve and more guts than probably me. He got cremated. I mean, they done everything he wanted to do, but the only thing, because he didn't want nothing special. He didn't want to spend a lot of money on it, and that's what I want. What is it, a big burial? I mean, in America, you're talking $7,000, $8,000, up to $10,000 to get buried. Here, you're talking about maybe $20,000 to be cremated, and they want to put you in the ground here. But I told Judith, you just take me out and you dig a hole and put me in it. I don't care. Flush me down the toilet. Don't waste money that you don't have. You'll need that money to eat on until money gets situated and get back to you. So I guess that's crude, but rude. But I talked to my pastor about it, and there's nothing in the Bible saying you got to be buried. And there's nothing says about even if you got cremated, you got to be buried. Myself, if all possible, I wish I could go send my ashes back and get them scattered over the Appalachian Trail. That's in my life. I had more fun in the Smoky Mountains. My life was happy, no problems, no worries, no cares. That's where I'd like to be. And the friend that was going to do that, he left this world before me. So now I have nobody in America to do it for me, so I told Judah she could take me out to where I go scuba diving, drop that urn in the water, and say thank you, goodbye, honey, and that would be good for me. Well, anyway, guys, this is Tennessee Hillbilly in the Philippines, Richard Reed. Hey, if you want to chat, if you want to talk, if you want to talk about the adventures here in the Philippines, give me a shout. I like to talk. I do not tell too many lies about what's going on here. I try to keep everything very simple, very honest, because I don't need no problems from the Filipino government. Uh, but there is a few things here that if it was me, I'd change. Uh, the, some of the driving laws here. If these traffic enforcers would just enforce these laws instead of just letting them go, they would be less accidents, less because right now there's no deterrent for these people to run you over, to pull in front of you, to sideswipe you, to get in a damn hurry to make a 4-lane highway into a 6-lane highway, and that's what they do. If there's traffic, if there's something going on, nobody's scared to get into the oncoming traffic lane, and pretty soon you've got a 1-lane going on 1 lane in oncoming traffic, and you got 8 lanes going the other way. It's ridiculous the way they drive over here. They don't have any kind of traffic enforcement here other than traffic enforcers, and their only job is to hand out tickets. So far I do it. If they tell me what to do, if they go like that, you mean go. If they go like that, it means stop. And if they tell you to go the right, you go the right. If they tell you to go left, if they tell you stop, you stop. I'm pretty much, I try to obey the rules. I do obey the laws over here. I don't need no problems. I like it here. My family's here. I don't know what I'd do if they sent me home. And anyway, again, this is Tennessee Hillbilly in the Philippines. You need to chat, talk, ask questions. Contact me here. Hit the like button. Share if you will. My email is rdreed2004@gmail.com. That is rdreed2004@gmail.com. And plus, it is Richard Reed on Facebook. Give me a buzz. Send me a message. You have a great day, and God bless.